Okay, what's up? Hello, Andrew, Craig, you and Tom, Joe. Wait, I missed. That was an alphabetical order, but that's okay. It was in no particular order. What's up, guys? We're going over every Glen Powell movie because he's kind of like a generational talent and got a hot bod. So maybe this will convince you to watch one or all. All, maybe. We're gonna go in chronological order here, starting with Spy Kids 3. If you watch like any interview with him, this always comes up that it's like the first movie he did, and he loved it, and he loved being on movies and stuff because of it. Spy Kids 3 Game Over. It holds up. All three of the Spy Kids movies holds up. They're good. I mean, this is probably the weakest of the three, but whatever. He's in it for like 2 minutes. He shows up. I wrote down at 20 minutes and 3 seconds. He's credited as Longfinger Boy, even though he doesn't really have long fingers. His robot suit thing he has long fingers. And that's about it. He's like the I don't even know, the guy at the battle dome and on the moon. Yeah, he's not really in this movie. Does he steal the show? No. Yeah, he's like a little kid in this movie. He's got like frosted tips, blonde spiky hair. I don't know. That's for the movie, or that's just what he was doing. I would say Sylvester Stallone's probably the best one in this movie. But moving on, that was just, quick cameo. But the longest first role is probably the longest one he has, and the next one's coming up here. So next we got the Wendell Baker story, which is 2005. This is a Luke Wilson movie he wrote. Owen Wilson's in it, and he's pretty funny in it. Glen Powell's in it for like 2 seconds. He's a paper boy. It's weird he didn't get a credit in the movie for it. It's on Wikipedia. Luke Wilson kind of bumps him with his car while he's riding his bike to throw him a paper. And that's it. It's filmed in Austin, Texas, where he's from. I guess that's why. This is a pretty good movie. If you want like something kind of funny, I suggest watching this movie. You guys might like it. Maybe not. I mean, I suggest watching all the movies, but if you're going to watch one, this is probably the one you'd want to watch. Owen Wilson steals the show in this. He's the funniest one. Moving on. Fast Food Nation, 2006. You may think it's a propaganda movie, but we probably are all eating poop in our fast food hamburgers. They're probably all covered in shit, and what are you going to do? There's sometimes you just have to eat shit, and that's about it. He shows up at a half hour. Okay, so this is important to note because this is the first Richard Linklater movie he did, who directed this, and he's in this is the start of a long working relationship. The guy who directed School of Rock, not that he's in that, but Glen Powell is in a lot of this guy's movies. I guess he saw potential in him in the 2 lines he has in this movie where he plays a high school student of, like, Paul Dano works at a fast food place. He's like dropping the burgers on the ground and spitting them and stuff, and Glen Powell's just his high school friend that he, I don't know, says 2 lines to. I don't even remember what they were. Shows up about like half hour into the movie. I think it was filmed in Texas. I don't know. I thought it was a good movie. And maybe not want fast food. You can say it's propaganda, but it's probably all real. And it's pretty sad. It kind of gets sad at the end. It gets dark. Fez is in it as well, and good movie. Next we got The Great Debaters, 2007. It takes place in Texas, even though he plays a Harvard College student that shows up at the end of the movie. Another one where he has like 2 lines. Yeah, he's got like 2 lines in this movie. I don't really know how debate works with the 2 debaters against each side, but he's like the lead guy on the Harvard team, but that's it. He doesn't say anything after that. It's the second guy that has all the lines for that. It's the final debate. This is the first based on a true story about Black history he's in. First of 3, probably the best one. We'll get into the other ones later. It's directed by Denzel Washington, and right away that he's only going to show up at the end because it's not about him or white people. It's about a debate, a black college debate team in like 1920 or something. So he shows up like an hour 45 into the movie, which is the end. He's got a few lines, but yeah, he's not really in it. He debates that civil disobedience is immoral, and then the good guy team is debating that it's not immoral, it's a good thing to do. This is a pretty good movie overall. And then there's some interview he's talking about like Dustin Hoffman saw him in this and was impressed, even though he has like 2 lines. So I'm not sure why he was impressed, but then he's like, "Oh, we should work together," and they never do, I guess. But it's kind of a weird thing, like why, why? If you look up his scenes, you'd just be confused why like anyone would be like, "Oh yeah, this guy." No, it doesn't really make sense. But it was a good movie overall. Keep him first, based on a true story about Black history. Okay, next we got Jumping Off Bridges, which was 2009. This is another movie filmed in Texas. I thought it was hard to find, but someone just uploaded it to YouTube, like by themselves, like to preserve it essentially for the creepy guy from Lost, Ben. I forget his name. He's like the most famous person in it, and I guess Glen Powell, but he wasn't really famous at the time. Yeah, it's uploaded to YouTube in poor quality. He's in it right away. It's first main role in this indie flick. He's credited as Glen Powell Jr., which he was in all the other ones. He drops the junior at some point. Maybe I noted that there, or in my notes, but we'll see. It's about a group of friends who jumps off bridges for fun into water, not into anything messed up. They like take pictures of the bridges and jump off them. Glenn plays the main character's best friend, whose sister died when he was young, and Glenn is there for that, that's kind of a reveal at the end of the movie. Maybe I should have saved that, but yeah, the family's all messed up, and Glenn comes from like a good family, and he's like, oh, I'm going to Harvard. He's like projected to go to Harvard. They're high school seniors. It's kind of quiet, the movie on YouTube. It's kind of hard to hear. But the mom is alive, and then she, unfortunately, unalives herself. I don't know. I guess she's just depressed overall, and her daughter died years ago. And it's pretty horrific thing. She leaves the car running in the garage. It's more about the kid, the main kid, his best friend, and the dad trying to, continue with life after all this stuff. And the main kid blames himself, and you don't know why, and Glenn kind of just like, he cries a bunch at the funeral, but then he just kind of bails on his friend and isn't there for him. Yeah, and then it turns out that the sister died, and it was because the brother and Glenn were playing, or whatever his name is, Eric in the movie. They're playing, and they get annoyed with the little sister, so the brother, the main character, kicks a ball, and it goes into the street, and the sister chases it, and then she gets hit by a car and died. And that's part of the reason why, I guess, Glenn never wanted to go see his friend, because he just mentions he keeps reliving that moment, and it was harder for him to go and be there for him, because he kind of figured that was part of the reason the mom killed herself, and I guess he probably blames himself for that too. I mean, the guy from Lost is like the best actor. He steals the show in this. But they eventually kind of make up, and they get drunk, or just the main character gets drunk, and they go to jump off another bridge, and he jumps off and doesn't come up, and it's scary, and then they all jump in and save him. Glenn saves him, and he lives, and that's kind of the end of the movie. It's pretty good. It's not like the happiest ending, but they're not really friends in the end, is what it seemed like. Like, everything's different, but they make amends. Some people have pretty horrible lives, so like that family, even though it's just a movie, it's still pretty messed up. It's good if you want like a old indie flick. I think the person who did it did 13 Reasons Why, so they seem to have like a theme of what they do. Suicide. Alright, next we got The Hottest State. This came out in 2009. This is based on a book Ethan Hawke wrote, and he directed this movie. I had to stop halfway through. It was filmed in Texas. Glenn's only in like the first, I don't even know. He plays a guy in the flashback, This came out in 2009 as well as that last movie, Jumping Off Bridges, but he looks way older in this for some reason. But yeah, it's about Ethan Hawke. I think it's like supposed to be about him. Ethan Hawke is also in Fast Food Nation, as well as the main girl character in this is about the relationship between this guy and or between the girl and this guy who's supposed to be Ethan Hawke. I'm pretty sure, but Ethan Hawke plays the dad of this movie who abandons them. I don't know. It's pretty. It's not good. It's it's just bad. Ethan Hawke is just like I don't know, like trying to make himself seem cool. I guess he is cool, but it's like about him being an actor in New York and trying to bang this chick. And I'm wondering, if he just saw her in on the set of Fast Food Nation and it's like, oh, I can get her in this movie and bang her. It's kind of what it seemed like. But yeah, I had to stop this because it was boring. Ben was good in the beginning. I would say he stole the show because the movie sucked. I don't recommend watching this at all. And that gets us to his big break. The Dark Knight Rises. 2012. Bane. I know we all love this one. Bane posting. Maybe the best? Not really. Of the thing, probably the one with the Joker. But Dark Knight Rises is good. This is a good movie. It's actually a good movie he's in. And he's a side character, but it's not like his breakout role, but I think it's like a big break because he starts getting better roles after this. You can see him at the 41-minute mark. He's getting his shoes shined and then his head smashed in by Bane. He's the one who says there's no money here. This is a stock exchange, and then Bane's like, then why are you here? And then he just smashes his head on the keyboard or on the desk. Next we got Stuck in Love. This is 2012 as well. He's right at the beginning. He's a minor character in this. This was a pretty good movie. It's about the guy from Fast Food Nation is in it, and like one half of the Stuck on You guy. That's him. He's the main guy, and the bartender lady from Top Gun is the mom, and then just some chick. He's a frat guy that the daughter bangs in the beginning because I guess she's just like a slut and sleeps around, and she just like, Glen Powell goes up to hit on her and she's like, let's just get this over with and let's just bang. And he's like, okay. And they go back to his room and he's got like a Gears of War 3 poster and like a Fable 3 poster. So he's got a kind of cool room, and he's got a copy of It in his room, but he says it's not his. The movie is about like a family of writers. It's like a love, a rom-com. It wasn't bad. It was nice. There's first movie we got a stoner. The son is a stoner in it. He smokes weed. His friend is the elf from the Santa Claus 2, and they smoke weed in it, and they go to a party and they got a big bag of weed. They hold up a big bag of weed and get in the party because they're kind of losers. And then it's about like the daughter not being a slut and falling in love with some guy, and is about the son's first love, and she's like a junkie girl, and it's about the dad getting back together with the mom. And Stephen King makes a cameo type thing in it, or he calls the son because they're all writers and he likes the son's story, and you can tell Stephen King is just like reading lines into a recording. He's not even, he's not obviously not having the phone call conversation, but you can tell he's not a very good actor or voice actor. I don't know. You can just tell it's a pre-recording that they just gave him lines and asked him to record so they could put him in the movie. But that one's pretty good. It's not good. It's pretty good. I didn't mean to say it's not good. It's not a bad rom-com if you want a rom-com. He's not really in it, but whatever. It's good. Okay. Next we got Best Friends Forever. This came out in 2013. I didn't watch this one. You can't find it anywhere online on any streaming service. Nothing. I didn't want to buy it. I'm not that committed to watching it. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that he is barely in it. I found some screenshots of him in it. We'll put those up here, but and I don't know. The reviews, people seem to like the movie. I don't know. It's about two girls going on a road trip, and there just happens to be an apocalypse. I don't really know if the apocalypse has anything to do with it. I have no idea. Maybe it does. I didn't watch it. Anyway, next, first leading role, Red Wing, another movie in 2013. Now this one is Jen's favorite. He, even though he's starring it, and he dropped the junior here. I made note. Even though he's starring in it, he doesn't show up till 36 minutes in because it shows him as like a kid, and then there's like a scene where he jumps off a pickup truck, and then it's him as it's like hot Glen Powell as an adult, and that's kind of like the plot of the movie is he's this like hot guy and he gets kicked out. Well, let's just go ahead and explain the whole thing here. Some farmers and I think Texas, I don't know where they are, have a little house they rent, and this lady moves in who's fostering this mysterious kid who grows up to be Glen Powell, and the dad is, I guess he's just kind of messed up and not a good dad to his wife or and family and stuff, and they live with their mom, and the mom hates the kid for no reason. They just think he's gonna be nothing but trouble, but he's not. He's a good kid. He helps out around the farm and stuff, and then they end up fostering him because his foster mom dies, and so he just helps out around the farm and everything. Then he turns 18, right, and that's when he jumps off the truck and becomes Glen Powell, and then the some other lady in town wants to bang him, and he rejects her, and so she like tells the dad like, oh, your wife's only keeping this guy around because she's into him. So the dad kicks him out, and he goes to another ranch to be a ranch hand, and the farmer's daughter falls in love with him there, and he's just kind of doing that, and he's doing his own thing. There's like some land the farmer has, and the farmer there likes that his daughter falls in love with Glen Powell, so he's like cool with it. And then there's like some land the farmer has, and Glen Powell's like, I can grow melons on this, like let me just work this in my free time and we can split the profits. And the guy's like, if you do this you can just keep the profits. So he makes like a good amount of money doing that, and then he falls out, or he finds out that there was a drunk driving car accident, and the dad died and the mom was in the car accident, she didn't die. And so he's like, oh, I gotta go back. He's like, don't worry, go back, take the truck. He's like gone for months, and they let him keep the truck, which is kind of weird. Well, he returns the truck, but it's just weird they let him go for so long without returning the truck. You know what I mean? Like, would you give someone your truck for that long? No. And then he's like there, and he's all hot still, and everybody has eyes for him, and the mom's niece is hot. She's probably the hottest, and she's like, but she's trashy, and she's kind of in. She wants to bang Glen, but he's not really into that or anything. And then I think there's like a scene of him like working the farm. He's like, I'll get your ranch all back up and running for you, and they were behind on bills because the dad was a deadbeat, but he's like, I took care of the bills and all this stuff. And there's like a first shirtless scene. Well, he goes shirtless and jumping off bridges because he's swimming, but this is where he's like, they're showing off his body for the first time. So, again, the lady who wanted to bang him, she's like stirring the pot even more. She's just very upset that he didn't bang her when she wanted. So no one else ages in this movie besides Glen Powell, and then like the main lady's son, he grows up. Everyone else stays the same age, so it's like, there is an age difference, and there's not really an age difference. So you're like wondering the whole time is, what is this about? The love story, it's like him falling for his mother figure who, was the only one who was ever kind to him, and then she like is his foster mom and like helps raise him essentially. She like gets him a new pair of boots when he's a kid, and then that is what happens. They like dance at the wedding of the trashy trailer trash niece girl because she gets married to someone or something, and he like goes back to the farmer's daughter, and he returns the truck finally. And then the farmer's daughter is like, if you love her, go back to her. And he does, and they get married. And all the comments, it's on YouTube, all the comments, they seem to love it. No one's that weirded out that he's like 9 when they meet and she's supposed to be 25, and that's it. It's just a love story between mother and boy, I guess. It wasn't a bad movie, though. Like I said, this one was Jen's favorite. Jen gives a 10 out of 10 in terms of Glen Powell movies. So that's his first leading man role. And next we got Expendables 3. This came out in 2014. This sucked. This wasn't good at all. Maybe Expendables 1 was okay, I guess. I don't really remember. I didn't see Expendables 2, so I don't know if I'm, like, missing out on something, but not really, you know? Uh, it seems like they were trying to reboot the thing. You know what I mean? I don't know, because there's like a whole new cast. Ronda Rousey's in it. All the old guys are like out, and then Mel Gibson's the bad guy who is supposed to be dead, but he's alive. So maybe that was in the other movie, but I don't know. He plays a hacker named Thorn, and he's like a hacker and a climber, like a rock climber, which comes back later in the movie. It's stupid. He I don't know. Oh, this is the beginning of his buzz cut era. That's another important thing to note. For a while, he's rocking a buzz cut mainly. He didn't have a buzz cut in all the previous stuff, but now he's got a buzz cut. He does not take his shirt off in this movie, but I guess he's supposed to be muscular, and yeah, so he's like with Sylvester Stallone and Ronda Rousey and the whole new gang of people. You can like tell they're supposed to like pass off the Expendables to this like guy that I don't even know who he is, you know, but it seems like he's supposed to be the main one. He kind of sucked. I don't know. It's dumb. It works. They like kidnap Mel Gibson, but that was all his plan the whole time. And then Mel Gibson kidnaps them all back, and then Sylvester Stallone has to get the old Expendables back together and go save the kids. And there's like a final, not kids, but you know, the young crew. Ronda Rousey sucks, by the way. She's a terrible actress. They give her a lot more focus than they do Glen Powell, and it's just stupid. So there's like a final battle, and it's like an all-out war. You know, they're expendable, but none of them die. None of them actually get expended. But for whatever reason, they start like, Thorn, you climb up there and get the comms working, or what? I don't even know what they. Why I forget why they want him to climb. And so the whole final battle, it's like guns and tanks and all this stuff, shooting and all sorts of crazy stuff going on, and then it just keeps cutting to Glen Powell just climbing up an elevator shaft. And then as everything ends, Sylvester Stallone kills Mel Gibson. Everybody, the whole army is murdered by this group. They get to the roof because Harrison Ford's in it, and he comes to save them. He's having a blast in the helicopter, and they're like, everyone get to the roof, and they all get to the roof, and then Glen Powell just like climbs out of the elevator shaft and sees everyone's there. He's like, oh, what? And that's it. They get there, and then, well, not except Sylvester Stallone. They're like, you gotta wait for him, but the building's about to blow, and Sylvester Stallone's like running across the rooftop as the building's blowing up, and then he jumps and catches the rope of the helicopter, and they just leave him there, and it's like a joke. Yeah, it wasn't good. Antonio Banderas is in it, so another, you know, he was in Spy Kids 3. He's like the comedic relief of the movie. It wasn't bad. Yeah, not a great film. Neck tattoo. That's one of the notes. He has a neck tattoo of a thorn. I guess that's his name. I don't know. Stupid. All right. Next one. Sex Ed. That's what it's called. Sex Ed, 2014. It's his first comedy, which I think they realized, you know, he's pretty funny. His actual character in this, still Buzz. So we're still in the buzz cut era. They definitely show off his jack body. There's a scene where he's like all oiled up. I don't even know what's happening, if it's like him and his girlfriend. I don't know. The main character is Haley Joel Osment, who's a virgin who teaches sex ed. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny movie. He's like the best friend. It's worth a watch. There's like a part where he's like talking to the kids, and then it's like, can I see your muscles? And he's like, oh, no. And then he like flexes wicked hard and gets them all to chant abs. Like, abs, abs, abs. And he shows off his abs. So, that one was good. Who steals the show in that is Matt Walsh, the guy, that comedian guy. I'll put his picture up for you. He's like the head teacher, something. I don't know. He's the funniest, I thought. Glen Powell wasn't bad, though. Alright, next we got Windwalkers. That's what it's called. Windwalkers. Came out in 2015. This is supposed to be like a horror movie. It's not scary at all. It's not scary at all. It's like a sci-fi horror movie. He's kind of the lead, though. He's like the second in command guy. He's getting bigger roles for sure, but this movie sucked. It's like Native American vampire zombies. There's like a main vampire guy that he's not really a zombie, but if he bites you, you turn into a zombie, and he's kind of like a vampire. Um, and he just has like orange contact eyes. His eyes look freaky as shit, but it's like a sci-fi horror. So if you like that, you might like that. It's garbage. It's a little confusing because like they're showing the movie, they're going on a hunting trip, and then it just cuts to 3 days earlier, and the main character's girlfriend is the girl that was in Sex Ed, that was Glen Powell's girlfriend in that. That's not what's confusing. It's confusing because they only show the 3 days earlier one time, but then so they showed the 3 days earlier one time, and then they cut back to the flashback sometimes, and they don't even say. You just have to like understand when they're happy, it's the flashback, and when they're not happy, it's the current time because they're all freaked out because there's a vampire on the loose. So the main guy is a war vet who returned, and one of the guys on the hunting trip goes missing, and Glenn instantly blames him. He's like, he's on Prozac, he's crazy, he's back from the war, he's doing this. And there's a part he's just like pointing his gun at someone because I guess he is crazy, but he's not the bad guy in this. He's a good guy. And everyone just ends up dying one by one, and then it's like him, Glenn, and the girl, and Glenn gets bit, and he just shoots himself. He doesn't, he's like, I'm not being a zombie. I'm not being this thing's thrall. And so he just shoots himself, and that's it. So the main guy saved the day, right? Of course. And then it just shows the guy. It shows the bad guy is alive still, and the movie ends. So it's like one of those. But what are you gonna do? All right. Now we're on to Misconduct. Misconduct, 2016. All right, this got Anthony Hopkins. He's got a hot young girlfriend. It's Silk Spectre. She shows her titties in this, like she does in every movie, but she dies right away. Glenn is like the main character's best friend. Buzz cut era still. He does not take his shirt off in this. He didn't take his shirt off in the last movie either. But it's about a lawyer, Josh Duhamel, whatever, I don't know. Whatever that guy's name is. He's like a good friend because the plot of the movie is the main character's married, and then his crazy ex-girlfriend, Silk Spectre, hits him up, and Glenn is like, what are you doing? You got a hot wife, you're married, don't do this. And he does it anyway, and he goes, and he's like making out with her and shit, and slaps her ass, and then she gives him like company secrets of Anthony Hopkins, who's like a big pharma guy, about how he's like fudging the numbers on clinical trials. It's good if you want like a long thriller, and they just throw in a bunch of twists at the end, which I won't spoil, I guess. I will. It's his wife kills the girl, but that's not really the point of it, anything. She kills Silk Spectre. That's just kind of like a reveal. It's really got nothing to do with much. I mean, they are curious of why the girl is dead, but not that important. They just assume it was Anthony Hopkins. But Al Pacino's in this. He's their boss, and he does a ridiculous accent. What did I write down here? Al Pacino does a weird accent, like a more feminine foghorn leghorn, but not as over-the-top southern. So he's doing like a southern accent. He's like a southern lawyer, but like effeminate southern lawyer, foghorn leghorn. It's just weird. It's like, why is he doing this? He's the bad guy also the whole time, in cahoots with Anthony Hopkins. I don't know, give it a watch. Sorry for spoiling it. Alright, another movie we got in 2016. Oh, you know what? I skipped one. Let's go back a few years to a little movie called April Apocalypse, 2013. This is not listed on his Wikipedia. I forget how I found it exactly. This movie sucks. It's a rom-com horror. It's not a horror movie, but it's the second movie there's weed. And Glenn, he's like, where's my fucking weed? He smokes. So they're at a high school party. All these people are supposed to be in high school. Kind of ridiculous because none of them look like they're in high school, but they're ripping bong. There's a stoner character. He's wearing a shitty wig and a beanie, and they smoke weed in the beginning of the party, which is pretty cool. So, second weed movie. Keep that in mind. There's a bong in it, so that's cool too. Oh yeah. Okay, so the main character of this movie is just like a nerd guy, and he has a crush on the hot chick. But at the party, the hot daughter from Modern Family, is into him, and he's narrating the movie. He's like, you know, that one girl just never shuts. It's like he's annoyed with her. Like, he considered himself lucky that this girl's even interested in him. You know what I mean? The girl Haley from Modern Family, and he's like annoyed, even though he's just a loser. It's like, that's crazy, crazy. So you know the writer was just a nerd, and he wrote some stupid shit like that. I don't know. George Lopez is in it too. He's like the therapist for some reason. I don't know. But the takeaway is that they smoke weed in this movie. Okay, let's jump back to where we were. Ride Along 2, starring Kevin Hart and Ice Cube. This movie sucked too. It's not funny at all. I don't know. They just cash grab. It was a cash grab. He's in it right at the beginning. He plays a drug dealer. He's buzz cut still. He was buzz cut in that other one too. Yeah, he plays a drug dealer. He's just the opening arrest, and what drives the plot of the movie. They shouldn't have arrested him, and you got 2 days to build a case on him, or you guys are off the force, type of thing. Sucked. He drives a green SUV. It's like they're doing like a Fast and the Furious thing. In the opening, they like go up to like a sideshow or whatever. Not really like a sideshow where people are getting run over and pants falling down and stuff, but like a Fast and the Furious meetup, and he's like a Vin Diesel type. He's more of like a what's the guy's name? He's more of the other guy. You know what I'm talking about. The guy who died in the car accident, sadly. Can't think of his name. Oh, there's another Gears of War 3 poster in this movie. Movie sucked, though. Alright. Another 2016 film. Everybody Wants Some. 2 exclamation points at the end. Pretty good. This one was pretty good. Spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused. Glen Powell definitely steals the show. I think he's wearing a fake mustache. Does he take his shirt off? Maybe. I don't know. It's about the weekend before college starts. It's about a baseball team trying to get laid, going to different parties in the 80s. They go to a disco. They go to a country bar thing. They go to a punk rock show, which is actually pretty cool. And they go to like a weird house party with theater kids. They smoke weed in this too. 3. That's 3. Third one, Kurt Russell's son is the stoner. He's got weed. He's got rips a bong. They do joints. It's cool. And then it's like Richard Linklater again, which is I feel like this is part of what made Glen Powell pretty famous. I don't know. I didn't hear of this movie until I was like looking into Glen Powell anyway. But that's a good one. I would say this one's worth a watch for sure. Next we got the second, based on a true story about black people, about black history, Hidden Figures. And Glen Powell's a good white guy in this. He's the astronaut John Glenn. That's a real guy. This movie sucks right off the bat. It's trying way too hard. You know, the first one, Great Debaters, is definitely way better. You know, I don't know. It just is based. I don't know. This movie was awful. The scene where Kevin Costner is like tearing down a coloreds only sign, and it's just it was silly. I don't even think that really happened. He's mostly featured at the end when he like goes to space, but there's like one part where he like shows up meeting the NASA team, and he's like, oh, and he's like the only one that talks to the group of black ladies, you know, who the movie's about, and they're like, whoa, wow, he's so nice, blah blah blah, and then they like fire her at the end, and then he's like, I'm not going unless she double checks the numbers, so they bring her back, and stupid. Sandcastles, 2017 Iraq War movie, starring Tony from Skins, Lex Luthor from Superman. He's the main guy. Glen Powell's like a Texas guy in it. He's got Texas tattooed on his chest, maybe here. Yeah, he seems to love it. The character seems to just love being in war and killing the people in Iraq. He dies halfway through the movie. He was the best one in the movie. It's like about them trying to fix a water pump station they blew up during some bombings for a little Iraqi village. I wish he didn't die. He's still in his buzz cut era. Oh yeah, and he didn't have a buzz cut in Hidden Figures, and he didn't have a buzz cut in uh, Everybody Wants Some. But I will still say this is probably his buzz cut era, even though those movies are still in it too. But whatever. Okay, moving on. It's a good movie if you like Iraq War movies. They go to like the Green Zone and stuff, and it's cool. I don't know. The Bad Guys, 2018, not the furry kids movie where they're like the wolf and whatever, the book, whatever that is. Even though if you look up The Bad Guys, that's all you're really gonna find. But you gotta look for it. This is like an indie movie, which it wasn't bad. It was okay. They smoke weed in this too, I believe. Yeah, there's a drug dealer. They smoke weed. It's about a group of friends. They're all rich. Like what? I don't know how I really relate to that. It's like they're like, oh, we're going to the house, like this mansion we have in like I don't even know where, somewhere rich, and like, oh, it's just empty all the time, so let's just have a little reunion here. It's like, what? It doesn't even make sense. So, just some rich guy wrote this, and it's like about this kid, about this guy who makes a movie about his childhood friends, because one of his childhood friends was like a junkie and killed somebody. Apparently, you don't know if he does or doesn't. They all talk about this guy. He does not show up in the movie. He does it at the very end. It doesn't even have a line. Glen Powell plays a guy who just got back from war, and he's all nice. He's actually a really nice guy, and the main character like hates him because he's dating his ex-girlfriend from when he was like 13, but they're all like adults now, and he's still super jealous. He came back from Iraq in this one, but he died in Iraq in the last one. I guess this is one for him also. It's like, I'm sure no one's ever heard of this movie, and it's okay. It's not bad. It's like, it's different. It's different enough, I guess. But yeah, it's just about like a group of rich friends who get together for this like reunion, and they're all like waiting for like the murderous junkie guy to come back, and it turns out the main guy like snitched on him, like called the police on him, which made him spiral out of control and caused him to do all the stuff he did, which he was found not guilty apparently of the murder, but they also call him a murderer. I don't know. But alright, this was a friendship reunion where they all air their grievances, so that's what that movie was. Alright, next, 2018. This one's a mouthful, so get ready for it. The Guernsey Literary and the Guernsey Literary and Potato Pie Peel Society. It's like, I love it because it's a mouthful. Wasn't very good. Glen Powell, it's like the 20s or something. Oh no, it's 41. It takes place like a little after World War II. I think it shows you the island of Guernsey being occupied, and it's like this guy's hammered, and the Nazis are like, what are you doing out? And they're like, oh, we're having a club, because you remember you encouraged us to have clubs for some reason. I don't know. And they're like, it's a literary club. And then this old man is hammered. He's like, and potato peel pie. And so that's how it comes to be the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, because they're on like an island off of England called Guernsey. A potato peel pie is just potatoes. It's like they explain it. They say it's disgusting, but it's just potatoes baked into a pie, not even a pie crust or anything. It's just all potatoes. So I don't know. This is after the war. He plays I don't know, some fancy general in the American Army, and he's in London, and he gets Deborah from Baby Driver, and they're like dancing and making out, and he proposes her, give her a big old fat ring, giant diamond, but she has like a pen pal with this farmer from Guernsey who's like, oh, we read your book, because she's a writer, we read your book when we were occupied by the Nazis, like, oh, I'd love you to recommend me a book. And she goes to the island, and then Glen's pretty much not in the movie, and it's just about that. Not a good rom-com. What I do like though is he like shows up on the island later, and he's like, what's going on? She's not wearing her ring because she's obviously fallen for the main farmer guy. Obviously that's what it's about. But he like helps her track down this person that they're missing, who is dead obviously as well. It's not even a surprise, but it's stupid. And then later she goes back to London, and then he's like, well, what's up, what's good with this? And then she's like, I don't love you. And he's like, kind of just tells her off. I think rightfully so. He's like, I shouldn't have let you go. And she's like, it would have happened anyway. He's like, whatever. He's cool in it though. Not a good movie. Not for us. I don't think we'd I don't think you guys liked it. I mean, I watched it for him. That's totally different. Does not take his shirt off in this. And he is shirtless in the Sandcastle movie, just in the beginning, though, when he's working out. So, all right, so I think that actually this ends the Buzzcut era, and this brings us to the Netflix era. Maybe Sandcastle does. He was Buzzcut in that, but that's a Netflix movie. And the bad guys, well, that was just kind of an indie flick. So he's got like 3 Netflix movies in a row. 4, but we'll get to that. So we're on Set It Up. This came out in 2018. This is the one I recommend for, I guess, just Ewan, or if anyone else wants a rom-com. It's a pretty solid rom-com. It's pretty good premise. Lucy Liu's in it, world's sexiest woman in 2003 and 3003. The girl from Everybody Wants Some is in it, and the love, they set up their bosses. They have like bosses who overwork them, their assistants, and they're like, get this idea to make them bang so they can have time to, so Glen Powell has a girlfriend, and so that girl can date. And it's just a fun, nice rom-com, I thought. I had some laughs. I mean, if you don't laugh or smile once, maybe you don't have a heart. I don't know. It's good. It's good. Okay, but there's something to bring up in this. There's a scene where they dance, and Glenn is kind of like doing some Mac moves, and then the girl is doing some wacky inflatable arm tube dance moves. So very Always Sunny coded, I would say. It's like, did they just watch Always Sunny and like, oh, we'll make him dance like Mac and we'll make her dance like Dee, and then after that they get some pizza and they eat it in her room, or they eat it in Glenn's room, right? They eat it in his room, and then she's like, this pizza's good, and then he like looks at her, but he doesn't say you're the one that's good, but he kind of looks at her and says it with his eyes. So there's just like a whole sequence that's just like Always Sunny for some reason. So it was good though, and they get together in the end, and it's nice. And then the bosses don't. They like manipulated the whole situation, and that Glenn's boss is a bad guy and Lucy Liu is like a good person, and so they're like, don't do this, don't do it, and it's good. Sorry to spoil it again. So that was 2018, and I guess we all know what's coming is COVID, and he doesn't work for 4 years. His next movie is 2022, and it's not good. It's a Linklater movie just about his childhood growing up in Texas. Glen Powell's rotoscoped in it. He's barely in it. He's a NASA guy that hires a kid. It's bizarre. It's a rotoscope movie. If you want to see him rotoscoped, I guess check it out. It's called Apollo 10 and a half, A Space Age Childhood. Apollo 10 and a half, A Space Age Childhood. Another mouthful. Jack Black narrated it, and he doesn't miss. Jables doesn't miss, but this movie was a miss because I didn't like it. I don't know who it's for. It's for people who grew up in that time, because it's just kind of like, oh, remember how sick this was? Remember I Love Lucy? Remember Popsicles? Remember, I don't know, like all the space stuff in around Houston, Texas, because my dad worked for NASA. Remember all this? And I don't. I'm sure even people who grew up in that time don't really, because they didn't live there. Maybe some of them did, but I'm sure they remember the space race, but that's all it's really about. And then it's like he goes to space, but that kind of seems more like a daydream, and Glen Powell is just the guy from Chuck. They're like the secret agents that hire a kid. They're like, oh, the space shuttle's too small, we need a 10-year-old kid to go to space, which it just kind of seems like a daydream, but it's rotoscoped. I mean, he did a Scanner Darkly Linklater, so I guess he's just like, let's rotoscope this boring movie. It's just like a nostalgia thing for people who grew up in Texas in the 60s. Now we're on to Top Gun Maverick 2022. Glenn steals the show in this, obviously. We've all seen it. We all know Hangman's the best one. He's the coolest one. Miles Teller sucks, I think. My opinion. Sorry, he's not a good actor. Glen Powell was trying to be Rooster, but they, I guess, made that whole role Hangman for him. It's sick when he's like tossing the darts and he's not looking, gets a bullseye anyway, and he's just the best one. He's the coolest one, funniest one. He doesn't really play roles where he's like that guy, but I don't know. It's good. It's good. Or he doesn't really do roles where he is like a jerk guy like that. This is like the first one where he's like that, and he steals the show. This is what blows him up. This is what makes him super famous. And Miles Teller sucking probably only adds to that. It only helps that Miles Teller sucks. Family Guy does a very funny parody of Top Gun. So that's worth checking out. Glen Powell's also in Family Guy. Okay, Devotion 2022. This is one for him. He's really using his pilot thing here. This is the third and final so far, up to as of recording this, based on a true story about Black history, about the first Black pilot in the Korean War. It's a drama. It's not really an action movie at all, like Top Gun was. It's just a drama, so it's not good. It has Jonathan Majors, and did he do it? He was convicted and he got dropped from Marvel. Did he not do it? I don't know. It's not good. I mean, maybe if you're like into that aspect of history, you would like it, but it's just about like his struggles of being the first Black pilot. And then Glen Powell's another good white guy in it, sort of. He's not racist or anything, and he has his back, but Jonathan Majors doesn't want him to have his back or something. I don't know. And yeah, it's meh. But this one was one for him. He like produced it, and I think he just likes that stuff, like pilot, that era of pilots, because his grandpa was a pilot or something. I don't know. Don't watch it. Now that brings us to 2023, where we're catching up. 2023, Hitman. This is based on a true story. He wrote this with Richard Linklater, so another Linklater movie. It's too long, but it's about an undercover hitman, and he's like a part-time hitman, undercover hitman for the police. Which the part that's a true story is that there was a guy who did this. He was like a professor, and he's an undercover hitman, and he would arrest people, and he says all pie is good pie, and he says that in the movie. That's like the code word to, it's like, oh, I'm the guy you're looking for. If you hear that, you hire a hitman. And then, so that part's true, and the other part is true is that there's like a lady who wants to leave her, like have her husband killed, but he doesn't like implicate her or anything. He like kind of lets her get off. He like helps her, and I think she was like abused or something. I don't know if she was abused in the movie. Probably not. But that's like the real story, is like he lets this lady go instead of busting her for trying to hire a hitman because he felt bad. Glen Powell loves dressing up and wearing prosthetics, makeup stuff, because the first like 40 minutes of this movie is just him doing different like disguises and characters and stuff, and that's the part that they probably could have like, sped along and chopped up a little bit and speed it up, because it does get good, I think, is when he meets that girl that he decides not to convict, and they're all weirded out by it. And he's supposed to be like a nerd, and then but like his persona for that girl is that he's like a hot guy, and then everyone's like, he's actually hot? This is crazy. I would never be with his real self, but his persona he made, yeah, I like this guy. So he starts dating her, and that's what's funny. And then she ends up killing her husband, and so he like helps her evade the police. He's like coaching her. There's like a scene where he's like coaching her, like giving her notes on his phone because he's wearing a wire, and I thought that was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty good. They end up killing a cop together, and they live happily ever after. But yeah, he definitely loves wearing wigs and makeup and all sorts of crap like that. But yeah, another Linklater film, because they're both from Texas, and I wish, there was somebody from New Hampshire like that. It's like, who do we got? Sarah Silverman, Seth Meyers, Adam Sandler. They're not going to help us out. We got the guy who wrote Life According to Garp. Maybe he can toss us a bone. We got the guy who wrote the Da Vinci Code, and I guess Angels and Demons. He's from New Hampshire. The poet Robert Frost, but is he dead? G.G. Allen. But you know what I mean? What the heck? Okay, Anyone But You. Set it up as a way better rom-com. This came out in 2023. It's a way better rom-com by a long shot. This one, the point of the movie is to show off his body and Sydney Sweeney's body and stuff. It's okay. It's kind of a fun watch, sort of. It's not a great rom-com. It's like, this starts with them having a little meet cute. They hit it off. They fall in love, obviously. And then Sydney Sweeney, for some reason, they don't bang, But Sydney Sweeney leaves in the morning. They fall asleep talking. Oh, we're just talking. Oh my god, this is so fun. And then she like sneaks out in the morning, and then she's leaving, telling her friend, "Oh my god, I met the greatest guy. Blah blah blah. She's so great." They're like, "Why'd you sneak out in the morning?" She's like, "Right. Why did I sneak out? I'm gonna go back." Meanwhile, his friend comes over and he's like, "How whatever happened yesterday go?" And then he's just like, "Screw her. She sucks," because he's hurt that she snuck out, and she overhears that, and then that's why they hate each other. That's why it's anyone but you, because they both have to go to the same wedding and they have to pretend to get along. And there's a scene where they like finger each other's buttholes in front of everybody to like show that they like each other. But it's like, I don't even. Is that something people do? I don't think so. It was a little weird. All right, now we're on Twisters. Twisters 2024. I thought this was sick. It's like a good classic action movie. He plays like a YouTube storm chaser, and the main girl is like a scientist storm chaser who was trying to like develop a way to disperse Twisters before they do too much damage. But in doing so, she killed her boyfriend and 2 friends, and her and one other guy survived. And she's just a boring meteorologist after this. And then the old friend comes and he's like, "We gotta go help, we can map Twisters and we can get the data you need for your project to work." And he ends up being kind of the bad guy, and Glen Powell's the good guy, even though he kind of seems like a jerk at first. And they fall in love, and he's not just some dumb YouTube storm chaser guy. He's like, "Oh, I can actually help with this." And there's a bunch of Twisters. It's just good action. It's a perfectly watchable movie, but I thought it was good. It was good. And then, yeah, they disperse some Twisters at the end. It works, finally. And I don't think he goes shirtless in this, but he's wearing a cowboy hat and a white t-shirt, and it's, like, raining. So, that was cool. Alright, now we're at The Running Man, 2025. I thought it was good. How did I watch it, you're wondering? I snuck out to the theater, and I checked it out on a single screen theater. I like Edgar Wright. I thought he was good in this. He plays a good angry guy. It sticks to the books, from what I read. I didn't read the book, but I just looked up the book plot, and it sticks to it, except the ending. I won't spoil that. More disguises in this. Kind of in the beginning. That's part of the book. Not really his choice, like it is in everything else. So, we got some shows. Now I've been kind of rambling here, but we got some shows to go over. Scream Queens. This came out in 2015. He plays a golf frat guy. This is during his buzz cut era. He's into dead bodies. It's pretty funny. He's actually pretty funny in this. Emma Roberts. Who doesn't like her, They're like dating in that sort of. He just cheats on her all the time, and he's, there's a serial killer on the loose. Oh, one of the Jonas Brothers is in this, and one of the Jonas Brothers was in Devotion. So he's worked with 2 out of the 3 so far. But who cares? The show is like supposed to be silly and over the top, and it's good. It's kind of long, but it's funny. They do like a Silence of the Lambs part one time, and it's good. Glen Powell is definitely, I think, the funniest one. But what are you gonna do? Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. It's just okay. Kind of long though. I would say watch it if you're like, I don't know, bored, or you just watch an episode or 2. You kind of get the gist of it. If you want to know who the killer was, it's the neck brace girl. So save you a lot of time. It's Joe Jonas, the neck brace girl, the girl from SNL. I don't know her name. She's like the mom of the sorority, and then the main girl's boyfriend. If the Senorita Awesome scene, the guy who's like runs out yelling Senorita Awesome, who like likes her, he's part of it, but he's not. He went undercover, but he still killed people. And then Chad Powers, the other show. He's in a bunch of other minor roles of shows, but never like the main like this. Chad Powers is what made me like him. As you know, I've been telling you guys to check it out. Dude's got range, okay? He's funny. He's wearing his makeup like he likes, and then it gets pretty serious. It doesn't become a serious show. It has serious scenes because it's like he hates himself. That's why he becomes Chad Powers. He hates himself. It's funny Hawk 2 is in it. All right? It's funny that she's in it for 5 minutes in the first episode. It ends on a cliffhanger. I don't think people really... I don't know how popular the show was. I don't know if it's going to get a season 2. But it kind of ends well enough anyway. I say watch it. It's funny. He's funny in it. And I think Chad Powers is funny overall. All right, we got some bonus stuff. He's in a Super Bowl commercial where he's wearing a wig again because he loves wearing shit like that. There's a Funny or Die short about a vibrator, him and his girlfriend, and he hates the vibrator. He drinks and drives in this, by the way. But I mean, he's like crazy. He's driven crazy by the vibrator. He has to get rid of it because he don't want to be outshined by a vibrator. And then we got him doing a Napoleon Dynamite impression in an internet safety video.
This dude looks in the mirror and he sees this ghost with big, red, creepy eyes. Dad! But I'm like, danger, dude! Gosh!
Not bad. But yeah, that's just about everything. I don't know. Oh, to end it off, we got the trailer for How to Make a Killing. You know I love trailers. I thought this was a pretty good trailer. I want to see the movie. He's seventh in line to get some inheritance, so he starts killing them all. So, seems good. All right. That was long. I thought it was going to be like a 10, 20-minute thing. Thanks for sticking around. Which, did you? Did you stick around to the very end? We'll probably... I'll figure out someone who to do this for next and get cracking. Cena, Barenthal, Shia LaBeouf, Jack Black. Or you got anyone else? Let me know. Okay.